So in today's lecture we will discuss about the test bench. Uh, how to write the test bench and what is the need of test bench. Already we have we have seen that when we simulate a Verilog module, then at the time of simulation we have to apply some signals to the inputs, and after the application of those signals we have to run the simulation. So when the simulation will run, then depending upon the signals which we have given to the inputs and the Verilog code which is being simulated, some outputs will be generated. So in previous lectures, when I demonstrated you the simulation tool, at that time I have used the iSim simulator, where I have given the clock signal. I have given the forced clock signals, right? So this method can be applicable if we are having less number of inputs, but if we are having more number of inputs, then to give the signals, those type of signals by using forced clock, it is a tedious job. So we shall go for test bench, right? So by using test bench we can apply the stimulus, right? We can apply the stimulus, that is the input signals, to the inputs, and depending upon the Verilog code, the result will be generated in the form of waveform. So we will see how to write a test bench, and in this lecture we will see some examples also, and in the last I will demonstrate you how to use this test bench. Okay, so now test bench. A Verilog test bench is a procedural block that runs only once. So see, already we discussed about the procedural statements, right? So generally procedural statement always is a procedural statement, right? So when we wrote the Verilog code by using behavior model, at that time we have used always block, right? So always block is one of the example of procedural statement. So in Verilog test bench we have to write procedural block, and that procedural block runs only once. So basically there are two types of procedural blocks, right? Procedural block is of two types. One is always block and another is initial block, right? In case of always block, whenever there is an event in the signals which are in the sensitivity list of the always block will be activated and it runs. So always block runs whenever there is an event on the signals which are in sensitivity list. So basically always block will not run only once. It will run many times depending upon how many times there is a change in the signals in the sensitivity list. But the initial block, which is used in the test bench, right, which is used in writing the test bench, runs only one time. Verilog test bench is meant to execute only once, and initial block execute only once. So test bench is to be executed only once, and for that we are having initial block which execute only once. A test bench is used to simulate a design, right? For the simulation purpose we require a test bench. Okay, Okay. A test bench generates signals for inputs of unit under test. Right? Unit under test, in short, it is written as UUT. So basically, uh, a test bench, right, generates some signals, and those signals we have to attach to the unit under test. Unit under test means which is being simulated, right? Which is being simulated. So we will apply the inputs to the unit under test, and those inputs are generated by the test bench. A test bench monitors the output of unit under test and present it in the waveform. So finally, waveform will be generated by using test bench. The inputs to a UUT are to be connected to the test bench, and the outputs of UUT are to be connected to the test bench. Right? It will be like this. Suppose this is the unit under test. Unit under test means this is the Verilog module. This is Verilog module. Right? And this Verilog module is having two inputs, A and B, and one output Y. So in previous lectures we have seen that when we simulated certain Verilog module, at that time we applied some signal during the simulation by using force clock tool, right? And after applying those signals, means some waveform of certain time period we applied, and right, and when we simulated those Verilog code, then we get the outputs, right? We get the waveforms. But here in test bench, what will be done? Now let us assume this is my Verilog code which has to be simulated. Now I will write one test bench, right? Now let us assume this this A underscore TB. Here means test bench, right? Any name you can give here. So I have given this one input name as T underscore TB, and this signal is connected to the Verilog module input port, right? And Verilog module is called as unit under test, whose simulation we are doing. And the second input of UUT is connected to the B underscore TB pin of test bench, and the output port of UUT is connected to another pin of test bench, and its name is Y underscore TB, right? And now at these inputs we will apply some signals, right? Some stimulus, some values, and those values are connected with the input A and input B of my unit under test. So basically the unit which is under test, those that unit is receiving the input values from the test bench, right? So test bench is generating the signals for the unit under test, and depending upon the Verilog module, some output is generated by my unit under test, and that output is connected to Y underscore TB pin of the test bench. So from this pin we can get the waveforms, right? We can get waveforms, right? So this is about the test bench. So you see this point, the inputs of the UUT. So these are the inputs A and B are to be connected to the test bench. So it is connected to the test bench A underscore TV and B underscore TV. And the outputs of the UUT, output of the UUT in this case is Y, and this is connected to the test bench. So in test bench we are having one pin Y underscore TV. With that it is connected. So we will see one example of AND gate, right? So in this AND gate we will see, and how to write the test bench for this AND gate. So this is the code of two input AND logic. Already we discussed in the previous lectures. This is an example of data flow model, because we have used the assign keyword here, right? So it has the inputs A and B and one output Y. Now when we write the test bench for this particular example, so the test bench will look like this. Already same figure which I have shown in last slide, it is like this. So this UUT, unit under test, is my this module, right? And in this module we are having the inputs A and B, right? And these inputs are to be instantiated with the inputs of the test bench. These inputs A underscore TB, B underscore TB. I have given the name of the inputs of the test bench as A underscore TB, B underscore TB. So these inputs of the test bench are to be linked with the inputs of the unit under test, and unit under test has two inputs A and B. So we have to instantiate these inputs. Now the Y is the output of my and underscore 2 module, which is unit under test. You can see here this Y is the output. So this Y, which is the output of unit under test, should also be instantiated with the output pin of test bench. So I have given the name of output pin of the test bench as Y underscore TV. Here TV indicates test bench, right? For that purpose I have written TV. So in this way we have to do the instantiation of the unit under test with the test bench. Okay, this is the test bench code of the test bench written for this two input AND gate for the simulation purpose. And here you can see the test bench starts with the module keyword and it ends with AND module, right? Just like your normal Verilog module. So it starts with module, then ends with AND module. In between we have to write the test bench. I have given the name to this test bench as test bench. You can give any name, right? Like X, Y, Z, underscore, and like this, or whatever you want. You can give any legal name, right? Legal name means use the proper identifiers to give the name. So I have given the name test bench. Okay. Now what is to be done? See here, these A underscore TB, B underscore TB, and so A underscore TB and B underscore TB, right? Which are connected with the inputs of the unit under test. They should be declared as rig. REG, right? So see here I have declared this. See here A underscore TV and B underscore TV. Since these are connected to the input port of my unit under test, that's why I have declared both of these as rig, right? I have declared these as rig because see basically these pins, if you see these pins, so these pins basically are the output pins, right? These are basically output, these are output pins of the test bench. These are output pins because from these pins only, some signals will be generated by the test bench, right? From these pins some signals will be generated by the test bench, and these signals will be received by the inputs A and B. So basically these are output pins, right? And some values will be assigned to these pins, right? So whatever, see, suppose if you assign some value 0 at this pin A underscore TV, then this 0 will be the output of this, and this will be received by the input A. If B underscore TV, suppose you have assigned some value 1, right? So this 1 will be generated by this B underscore TV pin, and this will be received by B. So you have to assign some value to this. The assignment of value will be done in this way: A underscore TV is equal to, suppose, 0. So 0 will be assigned to this, or if you write 1, then 1 will be assigned to this. Since these A underscore TV and B underscore TV is in the left hand side of this symbol, right? That's why we have to declare these as a rig, right? Because these statements I will use inside initial block, and initial block is a procedural statement, right? So whatever we write inside initial block, or whatever we write inside always block, then in those statements the left hand side expression must be rig type, right? That's why we have to declare these as rig. Okay, and here you see Y underscore TV. This Y, which is the output pin of my unit under test, it may generate some signals, right, depending upon the inputs A and B. So this will be received by this Y underscore TV, right? So here this will be your basically this will be your input, right? Because this T underscore Y underscore TV will receive the output generated by Y. Okay, in this way you can recall this. So now here you see, or in nutshell you can say this: the input ports of unit under test, right? The input ports of unit under test is connected to some pins of the test bench, and those pins must be declared as rig type. Okay, right? So here you just see rig A underscore TV semicolon, then see this semicolon, rig B underscore TV, again semicolon, then wire Y underscore TV, right? So those ports of the test bench which are connected to the inputs of the unit under test should be declared as rig type, and those ports of the test bench which are connected to the output port of the unit under test should be declared as wire, right? So Remember this. So here that's why I have declared y underscore tb as wire. Then this semicolon. Okay. Now I have to do the instantiation. So here what I am doing? I am doing instantiation. Instantiation of unit under test. I will instantiate. Instantiation means I will interconnect the input and output pins of the unit under test with the test bench pins, right? This is the meaning of instantiation. So see here, for this first you write the name of your unit under test. So since here I have given this name and underscore 2, I have written this and underscore 2. After this UUT, which indicates unit under test, and underscore 2 is unit under test. Then inside the bracket, how to write dot A. So first you have to write the port of unit under test. So I have written dot A. See here there is one port A. So I have written dot A. Then within bracket you mention to which port of test bench it is instantiated, it is connected. So you see here I want the A port to be connected with A underscore TB of test bench. So that's why within bracket I have written A underscore TB. Then comma. So here this is comma. Then dot B. So dot B means port B of my unit under test. How it is instantiated? It is connected to B underscore TB of the test bench. So dot B within bracket B underscore TB, comma, dot Y. So Y is also one port of my unit under test. And how it is instantiated? So Y is instantiated with Y underscore TB port of test bench. So I have written dot Y within bracket Y underscore TB, and bracket close, then terminate this line by semicolon. So this this type of instantiation is called as named instantiation, right? So here we are giving the name that dot A input is instantiated with A underscore TB, or B input port is instantiated with B underscore TB pin of the test bench, like that. So in this type of instantiation, this sequence is not important. You can, in place of writing first dot A within bracket A underscore TB, you can write dot Y within bracket Y underscore TB. So the sequence of these instantiation is not important, right? Because directly we are writing A is linked with A underscore TB. So the sequence is not important here, right? So this is the process of doing instantiation. Now after doing the instantiation, we have to use this keyword initial. So this initial keyword indicates that after initial, now whatever I am going to write, those statements are procedural statements now, right? Because these are written inside initial, and initial is one of the category of procedural statement. Procedural statements are of two types. One is you can start with always block, or you can start with initial block. And if you are using the initial block, then whatever statements are written inside initial block, they will execute only once. Okay, right? So now, since there are many statements I am writing inside initial block, that's why I will enclose those statements within begin and end, right? if there is only one statement which we have to write inside initial block, then there is no need of begin and end. But if the number of statements are more than one, then you have to enclose those statements inside begin and end. After this, I have written $monitor. So $monitor is a directive, right? It is a directive of simulation tool, right? So $monitor, then inside the bracket I have written $time, comma, then double quote. Now inside the double quote I have written these things, then comma, and these. See, the syntax here is for monitor, monitor, dollar time, double quote, comma, and variable 1, comma, variable 2, comma, you have to write all the variables. Then terminate this line by semicolon. So now here this $time, this is a directive of the simulator and it indicates the current simulation time. Okay, it indicates the current simulation time. And these variable 1, variable 2, these are the variables of test bench, right? So in test bench, see here, in test bench we have this input, this variable a underscore tv, this is another variable, and y underscore tv is another variable. So there are three variables. So these three variables I have written here: a underscore this, a underscore tv, comma, b underscore tv, comma, and y underscore tv, right? And what type of variables are these? What type of values can be assigned to those variables? That is declared here at this inside this double quote. So you can check this. See what is written here: a underscore tv is equal to %b. So here b indicates bit type value, right? So to a underscore tv we can assign bit type of value. Now for next variable b underscore tv is equal to %b. So here this is also b, means again we can assign bit type of value. Now to another variable y underscore tv is equal to %b. So here we have to mention the what type of value will be assigned to these variables. Okay, so these we have to include in double quote. After double quote we have to mention those variables, right? So here the purpose of this monitor, $monitor directive is it prints the waveform, right? Or it prints the values of the variables, right? These are the variables: a underscore tv, b underscore tv, y underscore tv. Whenever there is an event on these any of these variable, then that waveform will be printed, right? So this means here a underscore tv, suppose this value is 0. If suppose this value changes to 1, so at that particular time when the value is changing, when there is an event, so at that particular time what are the values of a underscore tv? So here in this case it is 1. And what is the value of b underscore tv? What should be the value of y underscore tv? All these will be displayed, right, at the current simulation time. So dollar time will indicate the current simulation time, and dollar monitor will print the waveform whenever there is change in the event in the variables like a underscore tv, b underscore tv, and y underscore tv, right? Okay. Now after this you see this statement. So here what I have written, $5 a underscore tv is equal to 1 semicolon. This means 0 value should be assigned to a underscore tv, right, and this 1 value should be assigned to b underscore tv, right? So here what will happen, this a underscore tv and b underscore tv, a value 0 and 1 will be assigned, right? So when we run this test bench, so it will start running at the let us assume this is my 0 simulation time, right? So this is the simulation time here, this axis, this is simulation time. So in this statement here I have written #5. So this #5 means 5 unit time, 5 unit time with reference to the 0 simulation time. So when the time advance to 5 unit, let us assume for the simulation time we are taking the unit as microseconds, right? Simulation starts at this time. So when the time of the simulation reaches to 5 microseconds, then 0 will be assigned to a underscore tv and 1 will be assigned to b underscore tv. So these values are assigned to a underscore tv and b underscore tv, right? So this means now there is the change in the value of these variable a underscore tv and b underscore tv. If this will change, then whatever is the values of a underscore tv, b underscore tv and y underscore tv, those values will be displayed in the form of waveform. So if a underscore tv and b underscore tv is 0 and 1, same values are assigned to now a and b of the unit under test, which is my this AND gate. So now this statement will be executed with the values of a is equal to 0 and b is equal to 1. This will be evaluated, so result is 0 because this is the AND operation, and 0 will be assigned to y. So now y will have 0 and this 0 will be assigned to y underscore tv, since this is instantiated with y. So at 5 microsecond you will get a waveform which will show the value of a, value of b and value of y, like at this time a is 0, b is 1 and y is 0. Now see the next statement. Now after 5 unit of time, next statement will execute this statement. What this will say? Here this 5 unit, this indicates 5 unit time after statement number 1. This is statement number 1, this is statement number 2. So 5 unit time after statement number 1. So for the statement number 1, these changes took place at 5 microsecond. So after that 5 microsecond. So this will be your now 10 microsecond. So now at 10 microsecond, A underscore TV will have value 1, B underscore TV will have value 0. So now this value will change to 1 and this value will change to 0, and this will happen at 10 microsecond. So when this will happen, so again there is the event on A and B, A underscore TV and B underscore TV. So due to that event, again this monitor, this statement, it will print the value at the values of A, B and Y at 10 microsecond. So here at 10 microsecond, again the value of A is 1, value of B is 0 and value of Y is 0. This will be printed in the form of waveform. Then after this statement number 3, this will be executed after the 5 unit time of statement 2. This means statement 2 executed at 10. So after that 5 means 15 microsecond. So at 15 microsecond, A underscore TV is equal to 1 and B underscore TV is equal to 1. So here A underscore TV is already 1. So there is no event on A underscore TV, but the B underscore TV changes from 0 to 1. So event occurs on B underscore TV. Since the event occurs at B underscore TV at 15 microsecond, so again the values of A underscore TV, B underscore TV and Y underscore TV, due to this dollar monitor, it will be printed in the form of waveform, right? So at 15 microsecond, you will get A is equal to, A will remain same 1, B will be 1 and Y will be 1, right? And this waveform will be printed. Then after third statement, fourth statement will be executed, and this is $5, #5 $finish. So $finish will stop the simulation. So this is the directive which indicates the simulator that stop now. So this $finish will be executed after 5 unit time of third statement. So third statement was executed at 13 microsecond. So at 15 microsecond, at 20 microsecond, $finish will execute and it will stop the simulation. So in this way, this test bench will run. So here this type of association, already I told you, this is named association, or sometimes it is also called as explicit association, because we are explicitly we are mentioning the names of the input and output ports of unit under test and the test bench, how to instantiate those, right? So this type of association is called as explicit association, and in explicit association, the sequence of these association is not important, right? So whatever we discussed, same thing is here. Initial block, it run the code between begin and end only once. So begin and end this. So initial block will run the code written between begin and end only once. That's why it is used here in test bench. Now $monitor directive. Whenever the value of A underscore TV, B underscore TV, Y underscore TV changes, then only print the values, right? So whenever these variable changes, right? dollar time, right? Dollar time is mentioned here. Dollar time, it is the system variable that indicates the current simulation time, right? Current simulation, what is the current simulation time? It will be indicated by dollar time directly. And here you see inside the double quote, what are the various input and outputs of test bench. We have mentioned in this way. For example, a underscore tv is equal to percent b, right? So here b indicates that it is a bit. Now you see here this first statement. So this is the first statement written here. Hash 5 a underscore tb is equal to 0, b underscore tv is equal to 1, right? So this statement, at time 5 unit, value of a underscore tv is equal to 0 and b underscore tv is equal to 0 at 5 unit. Now you see the statement number 2. So here also we have written hash 5. So this hash 5 means after 5 unit of statement number 1. This means at time 10 unit, value of a underscore tv will be 1 and b underscore tv will be 0. Then statement number 3, you see this, it is written here hash 5 a underscore tv is equal to 1 semicolon, b underscore tv is equal to 1 semicolon. So this at the time 15 unit, value of a underscore tv and b underscore tv will be 1, right? And in the last we have written hash finish. So hash finish at time 20 unit, stop the simulation. Okay. So when we are writing the test bench, at that time we have to create a dummy module of test bench. We have to create a dummy module of test bench. So dummy module means here module and module. So this is the dummy module of the test bench. Instantiate unit under test inside the test bench. So here we have to instantiate, right? So you have to give some name of your unit underscore test like n underscore 2, and this is u t. Then after that you have to do the instantiation. You have to connect the input and output ports of the unit under test with the test bench. We have to declare the pins of test bench which are connected to inputs of UUT as rig. So you see here, so these pins of the test bench which are connected to the inputs of the unit under test, they have to be declared as rig type. So see here, this is rig type, right? So we have to declare it a rig type. Why? Because we shall assign values to them inside initial procedural block. So see here, see, we are assigning values to a underscore tv, a 0 value is assigned to this. Same way to b underscore tv, 1 is assigned to this. So since we are assigning the values to these a underscore tv and b underscore tv, and these statements are inside initial block, that's why we have to declare it as a rig type. We have to declare the pins of test bench which are connected to output of UUT as wire here. So this is connected to output pin of my unit under test. So this should be declared as wire, right? So same thing I have declared here, wire y underscore tv. Now we don't need test bench when we are synthesizing a Verilog code, right? At the time of synthesis, we don't need the test bench. So this is the same test bench module, and this is the waveform of this test bench module, right? Now here the same example, whatever we discussed, and underscore and get, here I am using positional association method, right, for the instantiation. So in case of positional association, you see here, see in my and underscore 2 module, what are the positions of my A, B and Y? A is at first position, B I have written at second position, and Y I have written at third position, right? Now in test bench, here at the time of instantiation, what I am doing here, see my test bench are having these pins A underscore TV, B underscore TV and Y underscore TV. And how these are instantiated, how they are attached with the unit under test. In the same positional value I am mentioning. See, here I am writing A underscore TV. A underscore TV at first position, B underscore TV at second position, and Y underscore TV at third position. So first position, this will be attached with the first position of the port of unit under test. The second position, this B underscore TV is linked with B port, and Y underscore TV is linked with Y port, right? So this is called as positional association. And in previous example, how I have done, we have done in this way, dot A within bracket A underscore TV, and that was explicit association, means this A of my unit under test will be connected with A underscore TV of my test bench, right? So that method was explicit association, and this is the positional association. In positional association, the sequence matters. What are the sequence of these A, B, Y? Same way we have to write the sequence here, right? Okay. So only this is a change in this particular code. And in next lecture, I will demonstrate you in the software how to write how to write the test bench, and how to link the test bench with the unit under test, and then how to see the waveforms. Okay.